South Park is returning once again with yet another streaming movie for Paramount Plus. Similar to the previous COVID-related specials, this time the creators are relying on their own original story basis, rather than a global pandemic. Known as the Streaming Wars, the marketing has been extremely vague this time around. This begs the question, what exactly is the Streaming Wars about?
We don't know.
Yeah, we know next to nothing about this special. For whatever reason, a lot of the details seem to be really secretive. I suppose this isn't a bad thing as such, especially if the end result turns out to be a pleasant surprise. With that in mind, less is more, in that I personally would rather be surprised by the upcoming content rather than it being forcefully wasted on marketing. I was going to make a video about the special when it was originally announced last week, but there really wasn't anything to speculate on, and honestly, we are more or less in the same boat. The only pieces of content we have in relation to this so far come in the form of a small teaser and a summary provided by The Hollywood Reporter. I really like how these films are still following the modernized continuity we have grown to expect from South Park in recent years. These events are confirmed to be taking place after the drastically shortened 25th season and is taking on plot threads from this season as well. Revealing the release date of June 1st, the teaser is primarily focusing on Eric Cartman and his relationship with his mother. Acting in his usual spoiled and childish way, he states that he isn't comfortable living in a hot dog anymore and that he plans to run away from home. As it currently stands, we can only speculate on the story. We obviously know the special will primarily be focusing on Cartman, and I appreciate the involvement of his mother, who was an amusing character in the earlier seasons.
Mom! Kitty's being a dildo!
Well then, I know a certain kitty who's sleeping with mommy tonight.
Recently, she was heavily featured in the season 25 episode City People. This is where she conflicts with Cartman over a job in real estate.
South Park Realty Group, this is Eric.
You are in so much trouble, young man!
I wasn't a massive fan of this episode, but I liked the conclusion, which ended on a sour note for the Cartmans. They now both live in a fast food hot dog as a result of having no income and therefore not being able to afford the traditional home we've known for them across the series. Retrieved from The Hollywood Reporter, the brief summary of this special reads as follows. In South Park The Streaming Wars, Cartman locks horns with his mom in a battle of wills while an epic conflict unfolds and threatens South Park's very existence. It's interesting how we are further exploring conflict between Cartman and his mother, especially when Cartman and his selfish nature is responsible for how they are now living in a hot dog. As for threatening South Park's very existence, this seems to be an exaggeration at best. Clearly, some form of event or backlash at the hands of Cartman is likely to be responsible. Bear in mind, this special will be streaming on Paramount Plus, and the title is The Streaming Wars, which speaks for itself. What I took literally was the summary stating this conflict supposedly threatens South Park's very existence. Could this perhaps mean the show itself? It wouldn't be the first time the show has continued a self-aware gag at its own expense. I feel like I'm reaching a bit with some of these ideas, but if done correctly, poking fun at the show's current status as a streaming success could make for some really great laughs. I also thought it'd be worth mentioning how some fans really aren't impressed with paying for yet another streaming subscription to watch a one-off special, and so thinking about this, perhaps we could interpret this in itself as a war on streaming? Again, I am kinda reaching, but that doesn't mean we can't speculate. Looking back on season 23, I really hope the Streaming Wars includes references to the South Park originals, where each episode seemed to follow a similar formula. It felt like the show was trying to flourish with its own set of spin-off shows. This of course began with Tegrity Farms, then we have the Scott Malkinson Show, One for the Ladies, the PC Babies, I believe Terrence and Phillip and even the Queef Sisters were referenced as well. I found this to be a creative outlet from season 23, so if streaming is another key theme for the special, I'd welcome seeing more of this kind of content referenced. Sadly, it looks as though we're going to have to wait until the special drops before we know anything further. It was briefly hinted across a few articles that a fourth special was already being commissioned to release later this summer. I can only assume, similar to the COVID specials, this is also going to be a two-parter. It's exciting to receive new content like this, even if it does mean individual seasons are slightly shorter. Anyhow, that's going to do it for this brief video speculating on South Park The Streaming Wars. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to leave me a like if you did, comment below if you have any thoughts or ideas on what The Streaming Wars could perhaps be about. And for more content, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, DVD Review Studios.
Are you threatening me?